Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
A former Sioux Falls police officer admits to breaking a federal law and preying on someone who he believed was a child. 29-year-old Luke Schauer returned to federal court and pleaded guilty to attempted enticement of a minor using the internet. Authorities arrested him earlier this year for sending explicit messages to an undercover agent posing as a 12-year-old girl. As part of a plea agreement, 2 other charges were dropped, including attempted production of child pornography. Schauer was terminated from the Sioux Falls Police Department as soon as officials learned about the investigation. He's scheduled to be sentenced in December and faces anywhere from 10 years to life behind bars. A Millbank man will spend the rest of his life in prison for killing his brother, sister-in-law, and the couple's unborn child. 57-year-old Brent Hansen pleaded guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder, and the judge sentenced him to life in prison without parole. Hansen killed the couple using a baseball bat and a machete in December of 2021. His sister-in-law, Jessica Hansen's family, sent us a statement saying the day was challenging and all they can do now is try to move on and keep Jessica's memory alive. A Kansas City man admits to bringing a deadly combination of drugs into South Dakota to sell. Sioux Falls police arrested Tristan Luster and 2 other men in October of last year. Inside their rental car, investigators found fentanyl, cocaine, and oxycodone. This week, Luster pleaded guilty to a federal drug charge. Sentencing is scheduled for December 12th. He faces up to 40 years in federal prison and up to a $5 million fine. Turning to weather now with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Another hot day on the way, Brian.
Yeah, upper 80s and low 90s. That is plenty hot for this time of the year, and we may spark a couple thunderstorms along the way. There's a marginal risk of that in the south central part of South Dakota, northern Nebraska, Valentine Winter area, stretching toward Aberdeen and Watertown. So we'll keep an eye on that after highs today, likely getting back to the 90s in that region. There's also a fair amount of wind today out of the south or southeast at about 15 to 30 miles per hour. Coming up, we'll take a closer look at Futurecast and the weekend outlook in just a little bit.
Thank you, Brian. There's been little in the way of new developments as we look for answers to some important questions about Governor Kristi Noem's recent back surgery. KELOLAND News asked for details regarding the injury, the operation, and who was managing the state government during the procedure.
Noem's office referred us back to the statement initially released by the state and a video posted by Noem on Twitter, which did not address those details. The governor's office did say that Noem remained in power during the operation, not turning over power to Lieutenant Governor Roden. Rapid City Middle School teacher Sean Nielsen was one of 3 people certified to teach in South Dakota on the 15-member committee to come up with new social studies standards. In the past, a group of more than 40 educators helped set the standards. Ultimately, Nielsen says he decided to speak out against the standards because they didn't originate with South Dakota educators, and the standards were not written with the classroom in mind. The Board of Education Standards will make the final determination on the proposals after 4 public hearings. The first is scheduled for September 19th in Aberdeen. Students at Sioux Falls High Schools are strumming their way through new classes. The class is called Beginning Guitar and teaches students like Cole Simming the basic of the instrument in a group setting.
Well, it's been really good lately. I've always wanted to join guitar class. I've never had it elementary through my about last year of high school. The school district was able to add the classes thanks to a partnership with Pepper Entertainment, who provided all of the guitars and plans to sponsor school visits from professional performers they bring into the area. Minnehaha Country Club Superintendent David Swift says the golf course is in tip-top shape ahead of the Sanford International. Swift has about 20 students from the Sports Turf Management program at Southeast Technical College in Sioux Falls volunteering their time during tournament week and says the industry as a whole needs more workers.
It's manual labor. You got to get up early in the morning. That's the hard part. But once you're here, it's fun. I mean, we're outside every day and we have fun.
They definitely take the time to come over and explain things to our students that are volunteering and get them involved with all different aspects of turf management.
Swift's advice for anyone interested in golf course management: ask a lot of questions, pay attention, and show up on time. The opening round of the Sanford International is set for Friday.
A combat veteran from South Dakota now has a shiny set of wheels to drive around. Connie Johnson was gifted a 2019 Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk through the Driven to Serve program.
It's an initiative between U.S. Bank and the nonprofit Freedom Alliance. The mother of three will not only use it to drive her family around, but also as she travels around the country to help other veterans.
I am so grateful. I've been driving that Kia Sorento around for the last 10 years of my life, and it has done so good for me.
That Kia has more than 290,000 miles on it. Billion Automotive found the new car for the giveaway.
And that's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, weather it is, and we're looking at highs today, upper 80s, lower 90s, so plan accordingly there as sunshine at least will make an appearance, and southerly winds, quite a bit of that, steady wind out of the south or southeast, 15 to 30. Now, this evening, we could see some of these scattered thunderstorms coming up out of northeast Nebraska, or northern Nebraska, I should say. Places like Chamberlain and Huron could be affected by that. Possible severe weather. Stay tuned for updates on that a little later today. I'll stand out of the way. You can see the rest of that forecast. And tomorrow, the frontal boundary just sliding a little bit farther east. We may spark a couple of cells in the morning, but more likely mid to late afternoon, there'll be some scattered thunderstorms coming again out of northern Nebraska. And if you get caught underneath a couple of those, yeah, well, the opportunity is there for a local half-inch of rain or more. But just like it has been this summer season, these rains tend to run just in local swaths, and then, you know, you leave a lot of gaps in between. So I think that's, again, probably the case here. 86 our high today in Rapid City, 88 degrees in Aberdeen. That 7-day forecast. We toned things down a little bit on Friday in anticipation of some leftover rain Friday morning possible. And then there could be another little segment that comes out of the Black Hills Friday night. And that could also affect early Saturday morning. I really want to be clear, though, the weekend forecast is not a washout at all. I still think there's going to be some pretty large gaps where weather will feel fine. It'll feel like summer. There's going to be a little humidity in the air. And it's in the mid-80s. So, yep, if you like summer, you better enjoy it. In fact, next week we could even go to the 90s for a day or two before another change in the weather is foreseen. Aberdeen likely cooling back a little bit more on Friday. We'll have to see if we have to cut those highs a little bit more at that point. But then we should come back into the 80s. Not terribly hot, but 80-degree weather also for Pierre this weekend, along with the 20% chance of rain. We can't yank it out of the forecast entirely. It's still a little bit active here. And Rapid City, we go out the gate here with some showers and thunder possible tomorrow. Repeat on Friday, and a 20% chance of scattered rain through the course of the weekend. Check out more coverage online at KELOLAND.com.